Welcome to our Books Summary channel, Explore Books.
Today, we will get a summary of another new book.
India Wins Freedom, an autobiographical narrative, is a book written by Abul Kalam Azad, an Indian scholar, politician, and one of the most prominent leaders of the Indian independence movement. The book is Azad's personal account of his life and political career, and it provides a unique perspective on the Indian independence movement, particularly the role of Muslims in the struggle for freedom. The book covers Azad's childhood and education, his involvement in the Indian nationalist movement, his work with Mahatma Gandhi and the Indian National Congress, and his role as Minister of Education in the interim government of India. It also contains Azad's reflections on his life and political career and his thoughts on the challenges facing India after independence. The book is widely regarded as an important contribution to the history of India's struggle for independence and remains a popular read for those interested in Indian history and politics. This book is divided into 18 sections: 1. Prospectus of the first volume, 2. Congress in Office, 3. War in Europe, 4. I become Congress President, 5. A Chinese interlude, 6. The Cripps Mission, 7. Uneasy interval, 8. Quit India, 9. Armed Nagar Fort Jail, 10. The Simla Conference, 11. General elections, 12. The British Cabinet Mission, 13. The Prelude to Partition, 14. The Interim Government, 15. The Mountbatten Mission, 16. The End of a Dream, 17. Divided India, 18. Epilogue. Prospectus of the first volume of India Wins Freedom, an autobiographical narrative by Abul Kalam Azad, is a preface that provides an overview of the book's contents and themes. In this section, Azad introduces the reader to his autobiography and provides a brief background of his life and political career. Azad starts by stating that the purpose of writing his autobiography is to present his perspective on the Indian independence movement and the role he played in it. He acknowledges that there have been many other accounts of the independence movement, but he believes that his story offers a unique perspective that has not been fully explored. Azad then provides an overview of the book's structure, stating that it will be divided into 6 parts. The first part covers his childhood and education, and his early involvement in the Indian nationalist movement. The second part covers his involvement in the Caliphate movement, and his work with Mahatma Gandhi during this period. The third part covers the period of the Indian independence struggle from 1920 to 1935. Including his role in the non-cooperation movement and his presidency of the Indian National Congress. The fourth part covers the period of the interim government of India and his role as Minister of Education during this time. The fifth part covers the period after Indian independence in 1947, and his work to prevent communal violence and promote Hindu-Muslim unity. The final part contains Azad's reflections on his life and political career and his thoughts on the challenges facing India after independence. Azad also highlights some of the themes that will be explored in the book. He emphasizes the importance of Hindu-Muslim unity, and the need for India to remain a secular and inclusive nation. He also discusses the challenges facing India after independence, including the need for economic development and the preservation of India's cultural heritage. Overall, the prospectus of the first volume serves as an introduction to the book, providing readers with an overview of the contents and themes that will be explored. It sets the stage for the rest of the book and highlights the importance of Azad's story in the context of the Indian independence movement. Congress in Office. The section titled Congress in Office in India Wins Freedom, an autobiographical narrative by Abul Kalam Azad, covers the period of the interim government of India, which was formed in 1946 as a result of the Cabinet Mission Plan. Azad was a member of this government and served as the Minister of Education. In this section, Azad describes the challenges faced by the interim government as they worked towards the transfer of power from the British to Indian hands. He highlights the efforts made by the government to address the various issues facing India at the time, including the problem of communalism and the economic challenges facing the country. One of the major challenges faced by the interim government was the issue of communalism, which threatened to derail the process of independence. Azad discusses the steps taken by the government to address this issue, including the formation of the National Integration Council and efforts to promote Hindu-Muslim unity. He also discusses the communal violence that erupted in Bengal and the steps taken by the government to quell it. Azad also describes the economic challenges faced by the interim government, including the shortage of food and other essential commodities. He discusses the steps taken by the government to address these issues, including the launching of the food control program and the promotion of small-scale industries. Throughout this section, Azad emphasizes the importance of the interim government's work in preparing India for independence. He acknowledges the challenges faced by the government but also highlights the successes achieved in addressing the various issues facing the country. He also notes the contributions of other members of the interim government, including Sardar Patel and Jawaharlal Nehru. Overall, the Congress in Office section of the book provides readers with insight into the workings of the interim government of India and the challenges faced by the government as it worked towards independence. It highlights the important role played by Azad and other members of the government in this process, and their contributions to the future of India as an independent nation. War in Europe. The section titled War in Europe in India Wins Freedom, an autobiographical narrative by Abul Kalam Azad covers the period of World War II and its impact on India. The section describes how the war in Europe had a significant impact on India and the Indian independence movement. Azad highlights the fact that India was a British colony at the time and was therefore dragged into the war without any say in the matter. The war had an enormous impact on the Indian economy, as resources and manpower were diverted to support the war effort. India was also heavily taxed to finance the war. The war also had political implications for India, as the Indian National Congress launched the Quit India movement in 1942, demanding the immediate withdrawal of the British from India. Azad describes the impact of the Quit India movement and the brutal repression that it faced from the British authorities. Azad also discusses the role played by the Muslim League during this period. He notes that the Muslim League initially supported the British war effort, but later changed its stance and demanded the creation of a separate Muslim state in India. This demand ultimately led to the partition of India in 1947. Overall, the War in Europe section of the book provides readers with insight into the impact of World War II on India and the Indian independence movement. It highlights the fact that India was caught in the middle of a war that it had no say in and that had severe economic and political consequences for the country. The section also emphasizes the role played by the Indian National Congress and the Muslim League during this period, and how their actions ultimately shape the future of India. I Become Congress President. The section titled I Become Congress President in India Wins Freedom, an autobiographical narrative by Abul Kalam Azad covers his tenure as the President of the Indian National Congress, the leading political party in India's struggle for independence. Azad was elected as the President of the Congress in 1940. At a time when India was still a British colony and the independence movement was gaining momentum. In this section, Azad describes his experiences as Congress President, highlighting the challenges he faced and the accomplishments achieved during his tenure. One of the major challenges that Azad faced during his tenure was the outbreak of World War II, which had a significant impact on India. Azad led the Congress in its opposition to Indian involvement in the war, arguing that India should not support the British war effort until it was granted independence. Azad also worked towards promoting Hindu-Muslim unity during his tenure as Congress President. He believed that communal harmony was essential for India's independence and worked towards building bridges between the Hindu and Muslim communities. He supported the demand for a united and independent India, where people of all religions could live together in peace. Another major accomplishment during Azad's tenure as Congress President was the resolution passed at the Congress's Lahore session in 1940, which demanded complete independence for India. This resolution became the cornerstone of the Indian independence movement and galvanized support for the cause of independence throughout the country. Overall, the I Become Congress President section of the book provides readers with insight into Azad's leadership of the Indian National Congress during a crucial period in India's struggle for independence. It highlights his efforts towards promoting Hindu-Muslim unity, his opposition to Indian involvement in World War II, and his contributions to the demand for complete independence for India. It also emphasizes the importance of Congress as a driving force behind India's independence movement and Azad's role in shaping its direction. A Chinese interlude. The section titled A Chinese Interlude in India Wins Freedom, an autobiographical narrative by Abul Kalam Azad, covers his visit to China in 1946 as a representative of the Indian National Congress. Azad's visit to China was significant as it came at a time when the country was in the midst of a civil war between the Communist Party and the Nationalist Party. Azad's mission was to express solidarity with the Chinese people and to explore the possibility of establishing friendly relations between Congress and the Communist Party. During his visit, Azad met with Chinese leaders, including Mao Zedong and Zhou Enlai, and visited various parts of the country. He was impressed by the Communist Party's commitment to social justice and the improvement of the lives of the Chinese people. He also observed the devastation caused by the civil war and the efforts being made to rebuild the country. Azad's visit to China had a significant impact on him and his views on socialism. He believed that socialism was a viable option for India and that Congress should explore the possibility of working with socialist forces to achieve independence and social justice. Overall, the A Chinese Interlude section of the book provides readers with insight into Azad's visit to China and its impact on his political views. It highlights the importance of building solidarity between nations fighting for their independence and the potential of socialism as a means of achieving social justice.
Thank you for visiting our channel, Explore Books. We hope you found the summary informative and helpful. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for more updates. Happy reading!